Let's try this one more time. All the streams are coming in. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. And finally, this time, we got Instagram in here. So I guess it was all meant to be. Sorry I'm late, guys. Technical difficulties. Instagram was not letting me go live. It was giving me an error message. I tried to come on. You guys couldn't hear me, but we are audio ready. Everything's working now. So thank you. And again, sorry I'm about 10 minutes late, but I'm back. We're streaming live. It's your girl V with Reality Recap, streaming live right now across Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. It has been a long weekend for me, but I am caught up on shows. You guys know my daughter turned 5. She had her big spa self care Sunday party. She's into all things girly, and it was a success. So I am back. And I spent all day watching all the shows from Thursday through Sunday. So we're going to do a few tea talks between today and tomorrow. Right now, we're going to go over Friday's episode of Life After Lockup. I will also be back later tonight, probably around 8 o'clock, to give you my thoughts on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, and Bell Collective. And then set your alerts. I'll give you an update on a flyer on what time I will be doing a Housewives catch up session, a tea session, where I will go over this past week and weekend's episodes of, we have the reunion part 1 of Orange County, last Wednesday's episode of Salt Lake City, and yesterday's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac. Lily, thank you for checking in on YouTube. You guys, I've missed you dearly. I know it's only been like a day or two since I last had an episode, but I feel like so many shows came on that we have to catch up on. So let me know your thoughts on this past Friday's episode of Life After Lockup as I give you my unsolicited thoughts as always. And yes, you can comment in the chat. I will answer your questions. I will read your comments and get your thoughts on the episode as I go through mine. And yes, if you can't watch this live in its entirety, please click the link in my bio on Instagram or on Facebook and go to my YouTube channel, Reality Recap. And like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can watch all my tea talks, all my recaps there. If you can't watch this live in its entirety, you can always watch there at your leisure. All of my recaps, all of my weekly news recaps are there. Hey, Off the Top Sports. And you guys, if you're sports fans, the girlies, if you love football like I do, Off the Top Sports, make sure you check out their podcast. They have a whole lot of shows. June been doing a whole lot more shows. He tired of hearing my mouth, but on Tuesdays, on 8 Squad Rebel Radio, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., they give you the rundown on all things sports. June also a part of Off the Top Sports. He has some other shows that he does. They do their QB reviews, which I love, by the way. I've been joining that. I love, what day is that again? Because I just join whenever you have it up. Is that Mondays? Your QB reviews? Let me know. Your coach's corner, all of that. I support. So y'all make sure y'all check them out. Follow and like, share, subscribe to them as well. Lily on YouTube said, I can't wait for you to recap OC the reunion with something. Yes. Tonight at 7 is your QB review on Off the Top Sports. I will be there. I will be there because I have some things to say about my guy Golf. It's still golf, and Golf we trust. All right. But he was a little shaky last night. I hope his nerves are still good. But don't get me started on my football because yesterday's games. Oh, I thought Coach's Corner was on Sunday nights. Okay, I thought so. I did see that live yesterday. So y'all check my guys out at Off the Top Sports. But yeah, them games yesterday, right on IG. Cool. Yeah, them games yesterday, it was like the day of crazy upsets. Oh, no. And it was a stressful day in football yesterday. Exactly. I know some other teams, June, that had 5 interceptions yesterday and didn't come close. So I'm going to just leave it at that. But it was a stressful day in football yesterday, for real. And Lily, OC, for that to be the first reunion episode, out of this world. OC did they thing on this reunion. I can't wait for part two. Yeah, it was a crazy day in the sports yesterday. But anywho, let's get into it. Let me get my notes up. We're gonna talk about Friday's episode of Life After Lockup. I will say though, it was another dry episode to me. It wasn't that exciting. The episode. It was a few things that had me rolling my eyes. Of course, I'm kind of tired of some of these couples and their foolishness. But yes, Life After Lockup, June. It's a whole series. Okay. So if you don't know, we start on it's on WeTV. We start with Love During Lockup. So and mind you guys, Love During Lockup, a new season is starting in December. So we're gonna get all new couples. So these are the couples with the inmates where they're in love, but someone in the relationship is locked up. So we follow them through the relationship while they are locked up. Then they come out and we have Love After Lockup. And then right now we're on Life After Lockup. That is couples that some of our favorite couples that we followed through this journey that are now out for a few weeks or months and they're living together. We're seeing how life is going outside of prison walls. I said too many shows to keep up. It is. Yes. Lily Jen gags Emily, honey. I put the clips up on my page, honey. But yes, we're gonna do OC with Potomac and with Salt Lake City tomorrow. It's probably gonna be during the day, probably during a lunchtime little tea talk. I don't know exactly what time, but I will let you know. I've been posting on my YouTube. I gotta figure out how I schedule it from this, so you guys know that it's coming too. Yeah, we way past 2 or 3 shows. I'm doing like almost 8 Tea Talks a week with all the shows that's coming on. And it's just gonna get more, guys. Like we have so many shows coming. Beverly Hills, I owe you guys the first 7 minutes of the season premiere of Beverly Hills that dropped today. So I have that to post for you guys on Instagram and Facebook. We have Love and Hip Hop Miami is coming back on next week, the 16th on Monday, right? That's the 16th. No, sorry, the 18th. That will be back. We have Married to Medicine on the way. There's so much on the radar. And then we have a new season of Love During Lockup starting in December. On top of everything we have on right now that I'm recapping for you, we have Salt Lake City. OC is in its reunion stage. We have Potomac on right now. There's so much. We have Love and Marriage Huntsville. We have Bell Collective. I'm recapping like crazy. But I love it though. Lily said, I need Brittany and Key Rock to go. They are boring. I can't stand them. I want more scenes with Mama Troy, aka Karen. Yeah, Karen been cutting up on live, y'all. Like Troy's mom, she has been cutting up on live, telling all they business, alleged business, but she been going off. I had to like request to follow her. Her page is not public and she let me in and I was like, Lord have mercy, what did she let me into? But speaking of Brittany and Key Rock, they are our first couple that we're gonna talk about tonight. Now with Brittany and Key Rock, I already was annoyed with them with the whole situation of them planning to go to Texas, having Key Rock's mom and family pack up their whole house without having permission from the parole in Texas to move there. It was ass backwards planning, in my opinion. And same with this episode. To go out and buy a dress, they were planning to get married because Key Rock is actually off of parole and able to move to Texas. They already have an apartment out there. They're already paying for this apartment. Key Rock has an HVAC job he has set up out there, and Brittany is still on her parole and being denied to leave, right? And also Texas, really it's Texas that's not granting permission to move there. So Key Rock had the plan of let's get married now so that they can't deny you, and we're going to move to Texas under those circumstances. Brittany reached out to her parole officer asking if they thought it was okay for her to get married or what were their thoughts on it, and they said that it wasn't a good idea to get married, that if they did get married, it would kind of be looked at as something fraudulent they were trying to do in order to be able to move to Texas, and that it wouldn't work in their favor, basically. Now, Brittany found out this information while she was dress shopping for there. They were gonna elope. She went to find a cute, which she found a really dope dress, by the way, but she found this information out while she was trying on the dress. She still brought the dress. She still got prepared for the wedding. She still had Key Rock get a officiant and a cake and all these things. The morning of the wedding, she's sitting there zoned out. He's asking, "What's wrong? Do you still want to do this? Do you still want to go through this?" She's telling him yes, all to get to the altar and about to exchange vows. And that's when she decides to tell him that what the parole officer said, that this isn't what she planned as far as getting married. She wanted a big wedding with her families there, and that she didn't want to go through with it. She made it clear that it wasn't because she didn't want to marry him or that she didn't love him, but that she didn't want to do things outside of the way that she had planned. And Key Rock was upset. Key Rock was upset, saying, like, why didn't you tell me this? Why would you wait till the last minute? And rightfully so, right? I just, number one, it's again poor planning. And it was annoying to spend all that money knowing that you guys are strapped for money. Neither of them are working. They're living in, Key Rock's mentor, Coffee's house, and you're already spending money on rent in Texas and all of these things. Why would you go out and buy a dress and set up this elopement all to tell him that at the altar? It made absolutely no sense to me. And I can see why Key Rock is also feeling like, well, what's the real issue? Does she not want to marry me? Does she not love me? It was just super annoying. On top of the fact of, you got Coffee out there in her good old pink suit. She done put a tutu on her dog. You got them standing out there to be witnesses of the wedding. It was just a huge inconvenience and waste of everybody's time. Um, I also I don't know how I feel about Brittany's best friend that was there at the wedding, that went with her to try on the dresses that we saw in previous seasons when they went over there, when their relationship was introduced to us. But she was smirking, in my opinion. Did you guys catch that? Like, it looked like to me like she was smirking when Brittany like stopped the wedding and pulled her to the side, and almost as if, I don't want to say she's happy that they're not getting married. She's always on the page of them not working out. And it leads me to questions. Is Brittany's best friend, like, do she like Brittany or do she like Key Rock? Like, what's going on there? Yes, it is Candace Dillard on my shirt, guys. I should let you see it. Hold on. We- So yes, it is Candy Dillard on my shirt. It's the Not Today Satan, Not Today Neck, Not Today Ankle shirt. Yes. Only you, Lily, would peep that and know and understand. But yes, it is. But yeah, I just felt like wearing it today. But I did feel like, I don't know what's up with Brittany's best friend. I really don't. I don't know if she likes her or what, but it's giving she was just too happy that their relationship is not working out or the marriage didn't go through as planned. I don't know. That's just the vibe that I get. Lily says she love it. Thank you. um Also, Brittany's whining voice was a bit annoying to me. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Like, her whining and crying about, just talk. Say this is why you don't think they should get married. At least apologize for waiting till the last minute. But just keep it 100. All that crying and whining, I didn't need all of that. It was not. They were just annoying the hell out of me. And at this point, after standing at the altar and basically being turned down to get married, my neck is so stiff, y'all. But turning down the marriage, Key Rock, like, well, you know what? I'm gonna leave and go to Texas. Was it petty? I totally think so. Um, Key Rock had no plans on going to Texas if they had went through with that wedding. That was not his plan at all. He, in my opinion, was being petty. And the next day, he's packing up to go, and Brittany's saying, "No, you can't go. You can't leave. You just doing this to be petty. You trying to piss me off." They walk outside, speed walking and arguing and trying to keep their voices down so people don't look at them like they crazy. And ultimately, they come to, Brittany saying, like, "Please stay for a week. Let's figure this out. Don't go upset." And he agrees to wait a week. So we'll see if he really goes or not. But I'm just annoyed at their whole situation, the lack of planning, the lack of just doing things the right way. Even with this way, everything's ass backwards with them, and it's getting annoying. Lily on YouTube said, "I don't think she likes her. I think she knows her friend isn't making the right choice. She's jumping the guns." Oh, you feel like Brittany's best friend? She doesn't like Key Rock? Is that what you're talking about? But yeah, I don't know. I just can't place my finger on it, but it's something just too happy about the wedding not going through. Just always some negative things to say. They've been together for a while now. They are engaged already, so I didn't see why they couldn't do the elopement and still do the wedding later on. I don't see how, when you have your whole relationship documented, that it could seem like something fraudulent when you've been together on the show. You can prove that it's documented. You got engaged long before the thoughts of even or talks of even moving to Texas. I didn't understand why they couldn't go through with it, or why she even had to call a parole officer and ask. It just really has nothing to do with them. So we'll see what happens. Well, we know what happens, right? They're already in Texas on their social medias, but it's more so, does Key Rock leave next, in the 1 week? Does he end up staying? We'll see more about that situation, but I am low key annoyed by them. And we ain't heard from Key Rock Mama at all. She pulled out the driveway with her stuff, still went to Texas, and ain't answering Key Rock phone calls or nothing. We ain't heard nothing from Mama Key Rock since she pulled out the driveway with her stuff. But we'll see. We also are going to talk about Bianca and Daniel. I'm annoyed by them as well. And more so Bianca than I am annoyed by Daniel, just to be honest. I mean, he got some shit with him too, because he definitely shouldn't have told this woman or proposed to her while he was locked up, or made her believe that he was going to marry her as soon as he stepped out the jail. Those things I hold him accountable for. But on last night's episode, Daniel got a job. He got a job at a moving company. And this is what Bianca wants, right? She wanted him to get a job. He gets the job. Now she's complaining that she has to drop him off to work and back, and she doesn't feel like doing that, and she's complaining about that. But it's like, girl, this is what I'm saying. When she, again, nobody thinks ahead, nobody's proactive, but you chose to go on a website and find some guy that you were interested in talking to. So you say, because he was convicted of a DUI and you had been in a DUI accident, right? So you had to know that he wasn't going to be able to drive or have a license, because what? He was convicted of driving while under the influence. So for you to be complaining that he needs a ride to work, sis, when you asked him to work and told him you wanted him to get a job because you felt like you were fronting the whole relationship or paying for everything. Now he goes and get the job, and you complaining that you got to drop him off to work when she has no job. She ain't working nowhere. She don't know nobody out there in Arizona. She moved out there for him. So why can't you drop him off? I don't get it. I just don't get it with this girl. Like, I don't. I really don't. And those thin ass ends of her hair are driving me insane. I just want her to get a bob at this point, because it's thin and she keeps flipping it back like this and putting it on her shoulder, and we can see straight through it to her shirt. Like, I'm over it, y'all. I really am. Like, what do you expect him to do? Are you expecting him to Uber back and forth to work? He did that last night. We'll get into it. And it cost him $30, and the man is making $20 an hour. So you expect him to work and spend his whole check Ubering back and forth every single day? You had to know that you were going to be helping him get around. He was convicted of a DUI. Duh. So again, she's young. She doesn't get it. She doesn't know what she signed herself up for. And she's making things, honestly, in my opinion, harder for him. And she's definitely a trigger for someone that has a previous drug and alcohol addiction. She's not making it easy for him. She's not being supportive at all. She's being very selfish. I don't like how their relationship is going. Lily on YouTube said, Bianca really pissed me off. I can't believe she won't pick up and drop off her man. She's jobless. He's trying to make some money. Exactly. She still hasn't let us know, but like I mentioned, Bianca was involved in a DUI accident. Her friend was driving while under the influence, smashed into a concrete wall at the airport, and she apparently got a large lump sum of money out of that accident. She hasn't disclosed how much, but she doesn't work. She lives off this money. She moved out there to Arizona to be with Daniel. Daniel ain't come looking for her. She found him on a website. And yeah, like, he's only a few weeks out of prison. You had to know that you were going to be paying for things and dropping him off and picking him up from work. He got a job like she asked. I don't get it. Um, Lily said she finally cut her hair. I saw a clip of her on TikTok. She listened to you. I hope so. I think I showed y'all. I saw a picture of her too that was dropped in my inbox. The streets is saying allegedly that she's pregnant. And the picture that I saw, she definitely looks pregnant, but that's allegedly, y'all. But I told y'all last time I told you that. Just know you heard it from me first, but that's what the streets is saying. And in that picture, it did look like she cut her hair. So, yeah, but I'm glad she did. And I'm just annoyed looking at it in these these older videos that we're seeing on these episodes. But yeah, she's complaining about taking him to work. Um, she was also saying she doesn't know if she could pick him up from work after dropping him off, saying she don't know how her day is gonna look. Again, she's jobless. She's in Arizona with no friends. She moved there for him. She don't know nobody. So if you want somebody to talk to, you better pick them up because you don't know nobody else. Like, what does your day, your jobless, unemployed day look like that you can't pick up your boyfriend who's trying to do right? I just don't get it. I really don't. Um, and she says in their interview or their confessionals, like, she doesn't want to pick him up all the time and that he needs to figure it out. And he's saying, well, maybe we need to move closer to the job site because it's going to get expensive Ubering back and forth every single day. And she's just laughing at him like, huh, yeah, I guess. Like, what? I want Daniel to get out of this shit immediately. But they're still together. I told you guys they recently moved into a newer apartment together. They were out picking pumpkins during the fall, fall when fall first started and stuff like that. So they're definitely still together. She's been a little MIA though on social media. She took a social media break because she said she was getting so many rude messages and messages that telling her she should unalive herself and all of that. And she took a social media back, and then she was a break, but she was back, but she hasn't posted much lately. I haven't seen anything from her. Yeah, she's very condescending. She's very bratty. And probably as we all were at 23, 24 years old, that she is. But she signed up to be in a big girl relationship. So you're going to do what? Have to put on them big girl panties at this point. Daniel had a successful day at work. He's working for someone that has been incarcerated themselves. So helping him and giving him a chance and just talking to him and telling him, you ain't got to live through that or let that define you forever. He gave some inspiration being that he started out with just one truck. Nobody would hire him. And now he has his own company. So he gets off work and he calls Bianca to come pick him up. She don't answer. She don't answer. So he end up Ubering. He said it costs him $30 to Uber when he's making $20 an hour. And what is she doing? She's out spending money. She spent $130 on some damn Legos or something. It was like some figurines that you could paint, and she talking about some you could play with them. And that's what she was doing when he called for a ride home, and she couldn't pick him up because of that. Oh, okay. And he was he was a bit upset. He came in the door soaking wet sweat. He working all day, moving furniture. He had to take an Uber home in that Arizona heat. He's standing out there waiting for his Uber, and she's just home chilling. She didn't even mention it or be like, "Oh, I missed your call. I'm sorry, nothing." He comes in the house, and the first things out her mind is, "Don't sit on that couch with your sweaty body." That's a pet peeve. My Lord. Not how's your first day? Not I cooked some dinner just like he did when he made you breakfast when he first got out and you dragged him for not making you coffee for 3 episodes straight. None of that. It's why are you sitting on the couch with your sweaty body? Why are you doing that? That's a pet peeve. And he's like, "Can we not do that right now? Can we not?" Just the way she treats him is just crazy to me. He asked her what she been up to. She tells him that she was out buying these Lego figurines or whatever that you can. She was like, and you could paint them and play with them. And he asked how much were they, and she was like, oh, about $130. And he was taken aback from that. He was like, wow, like that's 7 hours of work for me, and you just spent that like it's nothing. And she basically was letting him know, like, well, it ain't much because she got money. Don't worry about what she's spending. That's none of your business. And on the other hand, he's saying in his confessional, like, who does she think gonna support this shopping habit and stuff when she runs out of this money that she's carelessly spending? Because it's not me. It ain't gonna be me. Is what is what he's saying. So I don't know how this relationship is going to survive. I don't know how they're still together now. She has a lot of growing up to do. He has a lot of rehabilitating that he needs to do. Yeah, he's clean now because he was locked up, and he's out. He needs to rehabilitate. He needs to work on himself, get established, get his own, job and place. He has a 14-year-old child that he's never paid child support for. He has an ex-wife. He needs to figure all of that out before they can do anything. And I told you guys already, Bianca needs help herself. She has admitted while drinking that she thinks she may have a problem with alcohol herself. Clearly, you got into an accident with someone that was drunk driving, and you may have had too many drinks that you didn't realize that this woman shouldn't be driving or driving me around. That says a lot, and she's running from her traumas in Florida, moving to Arizona, and that's just not how it works. So they both need to work on each other separately, on themselves separately before they can be together. Maybe they're doing that now. I would love to interview Bianca. Again, she seems a little taken aback from social media being in the public eye, just some of the messages and rude things that she's received. But I'm definitely going to reach out to her and see if we can just get her to explain herself or understand why people feel how they feel, or just get her thoughts on seeing herself back on these episodes. What does she think? I'm curious to know. I really am. Thank you, Amanda, for checking in. Amanda said, not that I want her to unlike herself, but dang, what did she expect when she doesn't care? He is actually trying. That's why so many felons don't make it. Their support system sucks. Agree with you, Amanda. And not to mention, like, she's on the phone with this friend at the Lego shop or the comic book store shop, wherever the hell she was. She's on the phone saying, like, he hasn't asked to marry me. I don't even know if that's gonna happen. And it's like, girl, if you were a better support system, you don't even know the man already got the ring. He was about to ask you the other day when y'all took the walk and couldn't even take a walk without arguing over holding hands. Cause you saying he holding your hand too tight or he holding it the wrong way. Like, she's her own worst enemy right now. So I agree with that, Amanda. And thank you for checking in. She said also, Amanda also said, meanwhile, she hasn't washed her hair and Lord knows when. That part, Amanda. It was looking very greasy last night where she was talking all that on the phone with her friend. Like, yeah, you need to come out here. I ain't got to ask him nothing. I pay all the bills. Like, that's not how it goes. She is holding over his head what she does for him and thinking that gives her the right to basically talk to him however, treat him however. but she don't want to be treated like that. You can't raise your voice at her. You can't say those things to her. Those are triggers for her, but she can treat him any way she wants to. It's insane. And right, it's greasy, Amanda, and it needs to be cut. Lily said that she saw her on TikTok and that she cut the hair because I said them little thin strands are bothering me, but apparently she washed it and cut it, Amanda. But yeah, we'll continue to watch their relationship. Like I said, they are still together. They moved into a new apartment. The streets are alleging that she's pregnant. So we'll continue to watch their relationship and see what happens on this show as well as on social media. Who else do we have to talk about tonight? Kim and Joey. Kim finally made her way to the lawyer's office. Amanda said, finally, yep. Yes. But Kim and Joey, Kim finally made her way to the lawyer's office after telling Joey in the last episode that her marriage, her divorce from her previous husband, is not finalized yet. And he was really upset. He was, saying like, how do you expect me to buy a house with you, move forward? How are we going to get married if your last marriage is not finalized? And he told her she needed to get to a lawyer ASAP, and she did. And sitting down with the lawyer, we find out, listen, this is not going to be a walk in the park to divorce. Kim was on here the other weekend. We were talking, and I was telling her, when I had my divorce from my first husband, it was kind of cut clean. We didn't have any children together. We didn't have any property. Apartment was in his name. I just left, and we were able to pretty much do it without involving lawyers. I was able to fill out the package myself, take it down to the courthouse and file it and get it done. In this scenario here, though, number one, Kim is getting child support from her estranged husband. She said she was getting $2,500 a month, which is really good. If I do say so myself, I be seeing girls up here in Jersey, they be getting like $69, $50 a month, but $2,500 a month in child support. I don't know if that's spousal support too or what, but that's really good. But the caveat here is that one of Kim's sons, they're waiting for a DNA test to come back to find out if it's Joey's son or not, because Kim and Joey were having an affair while she was still married. Um she said that she can prove that he was cheating and being, verbally abusive and things like that. But the lawyer was basically saying like, well, if it turns out that Joey's actually the father and you want to remove the soon to be ex-husband's parental rights and hand him over to Joey, that she could owe all that money he paid for that child. Now they do have two children together, so she probably won't have to pay the whole amount, but she said that that would be like $20,000 that she would have to pay back, if this was actually Joey's son and the soon to be ex-husband has been paying child support. I found that very interesting. I was like, oh, that's a monkey wrench in the game. You better keep them results to yourself. Don't reveal that on TV, girl. Keep that to yourself. Then also, she was asking about if they did buy property together, Joey and Kim, if they bought a house together, could her ex husband have rights to that? And that seemed a little shaky too, where the lawyer was saying, well, it depends on the date of the divorce versus the closing of the house. It honestly sounds like he could have some stake in that game too, because they're still legally married. And then I said, see, Joey was right, saying, like, I shouldn't buy a house with you. You're still married. Like, let's figure this out. It was a lot more to it than just let me go to the lawyer and get this divorce finalized. And Joey was right, So he was right to have his concerns, as we said to Kim when she was on here. Like everything he said in that episode when he was upset was definitely correct. But I just fear that number one, this is going to cost a whole lot of money to get all of this untangled and figuring out the parental rights if this is actually Joey's son, and her possibly having to pay this back. And then you're seeing the lawyer on TV, and your husband, probably your ex-husband or soon to be ex-husband, he probably at home jotting down notes to go take to his lawyer because you telling everything. I don't know how this gonna work out, y'all. And we still waiting for these paternity tests, which I also think Kim has these paternity test results back already in her email and just not sharing it or telling Joey. I truly think she already has it, but we're still waiting for that. Lily said, "Oh, Kim, that whole scene with the lawyers was embarrassing. I was embarrassed for her. They were definitely judging when she left." Lily, not only judging when she left, I don't know if that was the paralegal sitting next to the lawyer. She was grinning, smirking, laughing. I wrote that in my notes. Like, she was just getting the tea like it was a daggone soap opera. But I bet you she ain't never had nobody come in there and tell her no mess like that. She ain't know what to do. She was trying to hold back her laughs. But I agree, that was so embarrassing. Like, but she was loving the gossip. She was over there like so yeah, she was not only judging when they left, she was judging when she was in there. Amanda said, "No wonder she doesn't want a divorce." Yeah. And really, Amanda, I interviewed Kim a few weeks back. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's on my YouTube channel. You can watch it there. Kim only was thinking that because this will be Kim's second divorce. Joey will be her third husband when they do hopefully get married. So Kim said in her first marriage and divorce, all that the state was looking for her was to be separated, living in separate houses or separate domains for a year, and then she was able to file the paperwork and get divorced. So Kim was just thinking that with this second marriage and divorce, it would be the same, that she would have to show that she's been separated, living separately for a year, and then she could get divorced. She didn't think about all of these things that was going on, like, her children and the spousal support, and now Joey coming into the picture questioning if the one of her sons is his. She didn't have none of that in her mind. She just thinking, oh, after a year I can divorce, we're good to go, and I can marry Joey. And that just ain't the case. Who do you love said the lawyer face was like, what the fuck? Yes, it was. All of our faces was like, I know mine was like, oh girl, this is bad. You might you might as well keep that little email of the paternity test to yourself. You can share with Joey, but don't talk about it on here. Cause the lawyer just literally told Kim's husband everything he needs to know and everything he needs to do to get his spouse his child support money back. Like I said, y'all, $2,500 seem like a good amount of money. I know it's two kids, and y'all, some may say that's not, but just the amounts that I've heard women getting and here in Jersey be like $100, $120, 50, $69. I thought that was really good. And she got concerned about having to pay the money back to him. She also got concerned about, like, I can't afford for that money to stop. That's how I support them. Like, she's saying her money alone from what she makes working kind of, supports her and her things and, some things in the house. But as far as taking care of the kids, she really depends on that $2,500. So, sis, you might want to rethink this, honey. I wish she was on here today so we could ask her some more questions. I usually do these tea talks on Saturdays, and that's when she's joined. So I don't know if she knows that we're on right now, but I wish she would come in here because, girl, we all was the lawyer and the paralegal sitting over there like, oh Lord, what is going on? But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with if they go back to this lawyer. I will say also the lawyer seemed like she was a little dusty on these laws because she ain't never heard nothing like this before. I was thinking to myself, is she the right lawyer that you want to go ahead and lock in with and pay a retainer for? I don't know, because she seemed like she was like, okay, well, let me see. How does this work when you're trying to buy a house with a man while you're still married and getting divorced? How does that work? How do we separate the parental rights? Like, she had to think about it because she ain't had to do nothing in this round before, I don't think. So I don't know if she's the right lawyer or if Kim actually ended up going with her. We'll have to see. But that was embarrassing. Lily said they probably quoted Nene Leakes, the ghetto. Yes. Amanda said Joey is not the one to lose $2,500 over. She really loves him though, Amanda. Like, Kim really loves Joey. When we did the interview, she had the picture of them right behind them. They've been off and on since they were young, like teenagers. So Is it worth it to me and you, Amanda? No. But it might be to her. We just gonna have to wait and see how she finesse this. And hopefully her lawyer is a pit bull, honey, because she gonna need it. Especially after telling all her business on this show. But I can't wait to see how this unfolds. And definitely when you see the pictures, even though the pictures of her husband are blurred out, when you see one of her sons and you see her husband, he has this blonde, like dirty blonde, curly hair. And then you see the other son who has this dark hair, low haircut. He literally looks just like Joey. It didn't cross my mind until he said it though. But when you see them, it's like I would be shocked if this is not Joey's son. I really would be. So we'll wait to see what these paternity test results say and what happens with this divorce. But, as of right now, when I interviewed her, that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago now, she still wasn't divorced. Or honestly, she couldn't say. Let me say that. She couldn't say. But I will say ain't no wedding to Joey planned or date. So that tells me all I need to know. Yeah. Since he was with her cousin Tatum. Tatum was on here too the other week, and she says that she is happy for them. It may not seem like it on the show, but she's happy for them and she's moved on from it. She's not hating or waiting in the wings for Joey to come back with her. That's what she said. But yeah, honey, a whole lot of mess last night. Who else we got to talk about? We got two more couples. So Zariah and Troy, um, they go to the dispensary together for the first time. And she's holding his hand, talking about this is what she's always dreamed of, going to a dispensary with with Troy. I said, girl, dream bigger. Literally, that's what I have in my notes, like dream bigger. That's what you're dreaming about. But I told you guys, there is some type of codependency going on with Zariah and Troy. If you see them on Instagram, if you see them on live, they just chain smoke back to back, smoking. That's all we've seen them doing here. Karen, his mom, they've been beefing. Like I told y'all, she's been alleging a lot on her live. She says that they're on other substances together. But I personally don't know that to be true. All I see is what I see them, smoking the trees. But there's definitely like some codependency going on there. But they went to the dispensary together. That's what she says she's always dreamed of. She got her wish. They go in the park, to smoke, of course. And Z tells Troy how she appreciates him for stepping up as a dad figure in her son's life. That's all she ever wanted for him, that he does a great job. He gets emotional. I think he got emotional because he was high. But he cried. He has cried a few times though, but he cried saying like, loves the little boy, that he's such a sweet kid, and that, he's happy to be there for him. Now, while I think that's all great and dandy, that hello, is it Raju? Thank you for joining on Facebook. But while it's all great that Troy is stepping up and being a father figure, he's adopted Zariah's son and, put his name on the birth certificate, I believe. What's going on with his daughter though? I personally, feel like, not to say that one child is the priority over the other, but I just want to see him, and we don't see him we don't know what's going on because there's not really mentioned in filming since he left. Is it, I think his family's in Buffalo and they're in Syracuse or vice versa. But we haven't heard anything about his daughter or him going back to see her or her coming there or him working out that situation with his baby mother. I just want him to be working on the relationship with his daughter, who waited for him this entire time that he was locked up. She was only about 6 or 8 months when he got locked up. I just want him to work on that relationship as much as he's working on this relationship with Zariah's son and taking him to a museum and things like that. I really want to understand more of where that relationship is, as well as him stepping up and being a husband and being a father to Zariah's son. It just doesn't sit well with me, and I want to know more about that. Not saying that he's not working on that and he hasn't gone back. We haven't seen it. I just hope that he is doing the same amounts of things that he's doing for her son, because it's not sitting right with me. Lily said, not her wanting to possibly have more kids. She's crazy. She's not even a full-time parent, according to Mama Troy. Right. And they did have that conversation too last night where she was saying that they are using, I don't know if they're using protection or they have some type of contraceptives in place where she, shouldn't or is not gonna get pregnant. But if it was to happen, she asked would he want more kids. And he was hesitant, saying, like, I don't know, that's another mouth to feed. He's still trying to get on his feet. And right, I thought that was a little wild for her to want that too, just because not just what you're saying, Lily, because right, Troy's mom, Karen, did say that allegedly Zariah doesn't have her son full time. I really can't even say allegedly, because the son was with the grandparents when the house caught on fire, and he was staying there and had a room there. So I don't know, but Karen alleges that the son doesn't stay with her full time, that he stays with Zariah's parents. So I get what you're saying, Lily. Like, how did how does she want more children when she doesn't have her current son full time? But also, it was just pure for me of, you just told this man for a couple of episodes ago that you was behind on the rent at your business. You about to be behind on the rent where you guys live. You don't have any money coming in. You got to figure out the non-for-profit. You don't have enough, patients or people signed up at the non-for-profit for you to get your non-for-profit funds in, which I don't even think you're supposed to be using that to fund your life. Anyway, it's called non-for-profit for a reason. Listen, but I was just like, how could you have the conversation of a wedding? Your parents' house just burned down in the same week you asking for money for a wedding. How are you talking about children? Like, let's figure out the non-for-profit. Let's figure out our finances. I don't know, maybe start unfolding that money bouquet that you brought him or gave him when he first came home, and start using that. I don't know. But figure it out. But kids is not the wave we should be talking about right now. Who do you love? Say yes, I agree. He needs to focus on his daughter, right? So I'm not bugging. I'm not familiar with that situation of having children with someone and being in a relationship with someone else. I'm not familiar with that personally for myself, but I would be working on my biological kids' relationship and making sure that's tight, while also, with my new spouse's children as well. But again, not to say he's not. We just haven't seen anything about it since he came back from meeting her that one time. So we'll see. Because it was a cliffhanger at the end of the episode with them, where Mama Karen did call and said she had some bad news, and it was about Yana, who is Troy's baby mother. So we don't know what it is yet. We'll find out in the next episode what happened, and if he actually gets to go to the museum with Soraya's son. We'll see. But a lot of strange stuff going on in this episode. Now, the last couple that we had on Friday's episode of Life After Lockup was Justine and Mike. We learned that a lot of fires happening this season as well. So Mike's mom's house burned down. He said that I think his brother or someone in the family was cooking, and something happened, and there was an explosion, and her whole house burned down. She lost everything. Who do you love on Instagram said, and why her parents have to help her pay for her wedding? I mean, isn't that's supposed to be tradition? Ain't nobody help me pay for none of my weddings, but that's supposed to be tradition, that the mom's parents help pay for the wedding. I just thought it was like a read the room moment, that she was asking them to pay for a wedding when they just had a fire at their home. So that's probably why, but not the right time at all. But yeah, Justine and Mike's mom's had a fire, unfortunately. Sorry to hear that. And she's moving out there to Vegas with them in that already crowded house with all them kids. His mother is coming to town, knowing that Justine and her mom don't get along because she tried to do a DNA test on their child together, as if she didn't believe that the child was Mike's. And That's where we last saw her in the last season that they were on. But she's coming to town, and Justine and Mike have not let her know, or even Justine mom know, or anyone outside their household, that they're expecting child number 9. This is their second child together, but his ninth, and this is her fourth. I believe she has an older daughter, a son, and she has a daughter with Mike. So they're expecting child number 9. So that's where we leave off with them. The mom comes to town. She's sitting down with a blanket over her. She's nervous to reveal. Not sure how her reaction is going to go, but we'll see in the upcoming episode what happens when she lets her mother-in-law know that she's pregnant, and probably, also have to let her know that she's high risk, and that the risks that come along with it, that she could lose her life, and that she had to do a living will before she delivers. And this is her third, fourth plus, I don't know, C-section, which they don't recommend as doctors. And they really had a serious conversation with her about how extreme of a, dangerous pregnancy and delivery this could be for her. That's a lot to take in. I don't see how that could help their relationship if they already aren't getting along too well. Or maybe she will be more understanding, being that she's there living with them. We'll see. I mean, as soon as she pulled up, she said, "You need to water your plants outside." I said, "Oh Lord, this ain't gonna go well. This ain't gonna go well at all." Hi, Latoya. Thank you for checking in. We almost done here, but thank you for checking in, girl, and thank you for dropping what you dropped in my inbox, honey. You be having the tea on top of the tea. I was so busy this weekend, guys. I was telling them when we started. My daughter, she turned 5 last week. She had a big spa self-care Sunday party. She is in her girly age. They were doing karaoke, facials, getting their nails painted, putting little jewels on their face. Like, she had a ball, y'all. So I am behind on my tea talks, but rest assured I am caught up on shows. Know that. So, we were just finishing up with Life After Lockup episode from Friday. So yeah, again, a little dry of an episode, but still a lot of foolishness going on nonetheless. And I still enjoyed it. It wasn't the normal fighting and all the stuff that we used to see, but it was still a good episode. So if you haven't seen it, I spoiled it for you, but hopefully you've seen it by now. And I will give you a sneak peek later this week of Friday's new episode of Life After Lockup. Now, before I get out of here, I will check my inbox, Latoria. Before I get out of here, I will be back a little bit later tonight, probably after 8 o'clock. So set your alerts. I'm going to come back and give you my thoughts on this past Friday and Saturday's episode of Bell Collective and Love and Marriage Huntsville. And tomorrow I will do a midday tea talk and give you my thoughts on all the Housewives shows this past week and weekend. We have Real Housewives of Potomac, Salt Lake City, last week's episode of that. We have the reunion part 1 that came on last Thursday of Real Housewives of Orange County. So I will give you my thoughts on all of that. Not Mr. Man running behind Brittany, child. Here you go. Here you go. They was the first couple we talked about, Latoria. We talked about Key Rock and Brittany and just how annoying it is with their ass backward planning on this whole situation. The wedding, the move into Texas, all of that, girl. I cannot. Now, before I get out of here, if you have a business or a product you want me to promote on my social media platforms, my prices are there. If you're interested in being a sponsor for the podcast, well, I'm doing like 7-8 shows and we're still growing a week, and I will promote your business or product there. If you're interested in either, you can message me on Facebook or Instagram, or you also can email me what you see above, reality_recap@yahoo.com. And lastly, Cash App is in the corner, guys. I appreciate all your support so far, helping me grow my platform, growing my equipment, getting me on StreamYard. Latoria helping me out there. I'm trying to reach out and do some interviews. Shantae, if you guys know True and Shantae, she's running from me with the interview. She answers my DMs, then she goes. She got a lot going on. I'm trying to get her I'm going to reach out to Melissa, and I've also reached out to Bianca, since you guys have a lot of thoughts on Bianca and Daniel's relationship. You know, a lot of them be scared though. I don't know why. It's such a warm place here. I don't know. They be a little scared. I also reached out to Jessie for Real Housewives of Potomac. Let's see if she responds and see if she's willing to come on and just let us get to know her a little bit more, especially after that tea I dropped today, honey. We'll see what she has to say or what's her thoughts. And just get to know her a little bit more. What is she about? Her businesses. We'll see if she responds. I did reach out to Karen Latoria. She has not responded. I'm going to try again. I have asked her on her lives. I have reached out to her in her messages. I don't know how good Karen is with social media and responding to those type of things. All she know how to do is go live and talk shit, honey. But I did, and I will try again for sure. But look out, we have some things on the horizon, some tea talks coming, all the shows for the rest of this week. I will get back on my schedule. I'm trying to arrange with some other pages where we talk about Eat, Slay, Love, the new show that just premiered last week on Peacock. So if you're not watching that, good show, especially for us brown girls. I love it. So give it a try. And we're going to see if we can organize that with a few of my other pages and give you our thoughts on Eat, Slay, Love. So look out for that, guys. Now, before I go, like I always say, reality TV stars are humans too. Don't forget that. I will be back a little later tonight. Set your alerts to go over my thoughts of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, and Bell Collective. Glad that London left. Yeah. So I'll let you know about that. And it should be like, I'm trying to get 3 other podcast pages so we can all have our platforms streaming and everyone come in and give their thoughts on it. But glad she left too. And I enjoyed the season. So look out for that, y'all. I'll see you guys a little bit later. It's your girl V with Reality Recap. See you later for my thoughts